All right. Hello, good morning, good evening, and good night. I hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic because today what we're going to be talking about is we're going to be talking about ZIM integrated shipping and why it's because ZIM finally reported their financial results for the first quarter of 2024. So we are going to digest that information in this video, talk about exactly why ZIM is down 5% today because they did have an earnings miss, which I do want to talk about. It's interesting because ZIM's earnings is something that I kind of expected in terms of revenues, but in terms of net income, it surprised me to the downside. And maybe that's why the stock's down about 5% today. It's not crazy, but I want to touch on that. And I want to touch on a couple other measures that may or may not be going for ZIM at this moment. So with all that, we're up to 4,697 subscribers, 230 subscribers, 239 subscribers in the past 28 days. So please do so if you haven't already. But let's get into this video nonetheless. So we're talking about ZIM. ZIM, I still haven't changed my opinion. I like ZIM. ZIM is a great stock in my opinion. It's a shipping company. Okay, I wouldn't say it's a really great stock because when we think of great stocks, we think of maybe Coca-Cola. We think of some other staples. ZIM is more of a riskier play. They are a smaller company. Just to go over their market cap here, they're only $2.3 billion market cap. You can see their earnings per share doesn't look too good. But what is good for ZIM is in their first quarter of 2024, they reported a positive net income of $92 million. And with that, declared a dividend, $28 million of that $92 million, or a 23 cent per share dividend, which really is not huge. Of course, for ZIM, that's a very small dividend because we're used to seeing the $17, the $6 dividends, and the $4 dividends. So this dividend is nothing to what ZIM holders were kind of expecting probably. And in terms of their actual earnings per share, we could see here it should be a little bit down the ways if I could find that. They came out at about 57 cents per share. I'm pretty sure it was. I'm not really sure where it's at currently, but you can see most estimates were about $146, $146, $1.46 or $1.50, but I'm pretty sure the earnings per share was much less than that. It was about 50 to 60 cents per share. So as you can imagine, not necessarily the best outcome for ZIM for this first quarter earnings of 2024. We obviously expected earnings to be a lot higher due to the fact that freight rates were obviously a lot higher. And ZIM's earnings ended on March 29th, 2024. So it was all the way from January to March 31st, 2024, as you could see right here, the 3 months that started the year. And in those times, freight rates were doing very well. Freight rates were hovering at about the $3,500 marker. And since then, freight rates have dropped off. They've dropped all the way as low as $2,300, but have then recovered now to about $3,100. $3,100. So with all this being said, where do I see ZIM going in the future? Because this was not the earnings that we expected. It's maybe the revenue that we expected. As you can see here, $1.56 billion compared to ZIM in the previous quarter, which was $1.2 billion. So it's a $300 million increase, and yet the net income was barely positive, only $92 million. So when looking at ZIM, what do we expect for ZIM's future? Because ZIM, they mentioned countless times, they mentioned how leading up to 2025, they're not necessarily going to be profitable. They're investing in themselves. I don't know if you've ever seen these ZIM containers like you see on the left here, but ZIM has really invested in new containers and some new ships, a lot of new ships, which is putting higher expenses on their earnings and really taking away a lot of their earnings, as you could tell, because they had a huge boost in total revenue with barely a boost in net income. Now, one thing I do want to say is I do think ZIM is a long holding. Am I looking to sell shares? No, I'm not. I'm going to simply hold my shares. Am I looking to buy shares? Not at this current level. I believe this is a decently fair price to pay for ZIM. I think about $18, $20 is a fair price, but I'm not looking to add any more. I only want to buy at great prices. I do think anywhere close to dollars like $5 or $10 is a great buy for ZIM, but I think now is only a fair price. And I think the market reflects that in the sense that ZIM, although it's had some pretty rough times in the past where we've seen massive swings to the upside, massive swings to the downside, going from about $14 to about $10, then swinging all the way back up to about $18, $19. ZIM is definitely a heavily traded stock, and it's a high moving stock. And if you're going to get into ZIM, you're going to have to expect a lot of volatility with your position. But if you do think ZIM is going to be good long term, you could see it was trading back at measures at about $85. This was about 2 years ago, but it does have the potential to get back up there, but it's not always a guarantee. And especially with an industry that's a little bit more cyclical, like the shipping industry, it all depends on how freight rates perform, and it all depends about the expenses that ZIM incurs along the way. And currently, ZIM is incurring a lot of expenses with new ships on the arrival, but those new ships, although costly, are going to be key because they're LNG powered. And LNG is basically like, it's a cleaner fuel, and it's a less kind of like expensive fuel to maintain. The ships run a little cleaner. And so you can see this is on their front page, ZIM LNG. They're bringing on, I think, 15 or more ships, which is going to be fantastic. They're getting rid of some old ships too, so it's not like ZIM's overall TEU space is really increasing that much. It's really just they're becoming more fuel efficient, which is going to make them more cost efficient, and we should see that in the future. So I'm holding my shares for now, and this was just a little update on what exactly happened in ZIM's Q1 of 2024, how they reported an earnings of $1.56 billion as their total revenue, and their total net income was positive, which is fantastic, at $92 million right there. So if you guys also enjoyed this video, you can also see that they paid a dividend of about 23 cents. We'll be paying that. The date that they will, I will have to get back to you guys, as I'm obviously a holder, so I'll keep you guys posted. But I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, we're up to 4,697 subscribers. I hope this video gave you a little bit more insight onto ZIM. Maybe you're a holder. Maybe you're looking to become a holder because you hear a lot of the hype. You've seen the run up in the past couple months. But what I would advise to you guys, if you wanted to get back into ZIM or are looking to purchase, definitely look for maybe a little bit of a rebound, because I do think that overall, and this is not financial advice, but I'm saying overall, I think the sentiment was going to be a lot higher for their earnings. I think people thought they were going to earn a lot more than 92 million and pay a lot bigger dividend than a 23 cent per share dividend. So maybe we might see ZIM's stock price fall a little bit in the near future. Of course, I'm not sure. You can see it was very strong going up. It had a support, and now it's slowly breaking as the news. But only time will tell, and we shall see. So this was a video on ZIM. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys do take care, and I hope to see you guys in the next video.